Yep, that's us.
What up, y'all? Nature Girl 30 here. I honestly did not think that I was going to be doing more videos of Raven's Home, but it's starting to get pretty interesting. Like, I got no beef with it now, except for episode 10, but I'll get into that. And yes, this is a twofer. I am actually doing a review of 2 episodes of Raven's Home. Last week's InVision of Privacy and this week's Fears of a Clown. And I'm going to get started with my favorite. My favorite episode so far definitely is episode 9. Y'all know that I'm a sucker for growth. I'm a sucker for character growth. And the last episode that we saw, there was a lot of character growth with Chelsea. This was a huge character growth episode for Booker. It was all about how Booker was starting to get a little bit more mature. And I like that. I really do. And also that the whole I'm trying to avoid visions. I'm trying to avoid my mom finding out about my visions dynamic doesn't make any sense to me still, because in the first season of That's So Raven, well, maybe the second season, you pretty much dove a lot into how Raven's psychics worked and how her family, her mom's side of the family, were really psychic while her dad's wasn't. And honestly, I think that should really come to head. I don't know why she's afraid, but maybe they'll talk about that down the line. So I'm gonna try to not hate on it too much about that. But the cool part about it is that they're starting to lead to that point to where whether or not Raven's going to find out that Booker actually is psychic and what they're hiding from each other and why Raven chose to hide it from her kids and whether or not she hid it from her husband. But that's a whole nother dynamic. The one thing I like about this episode is that Booker actually was a friend for once. You know, before, of course, he's always selfish Booker, but in the very end, somehow he comes together to try to make someone feel better when he knows he's done something wrong. And this point, it really did kind of make you feel, because Raven will always have visions, but she would always try to, think that it's an advance, like that how she's able to fix something before something happens. Like, she's able to fix something bad before it actually happens without knowing the whole full extent. Booker just saw a vision of Tess pretty much being crushed by a guy. Practically, the guy that she had a crush on ended up crushing her by not having the same feelings for her. And he saw this way in advance, but he didn't really know how to go about it. And the funny thing is that he went to his mom, which was the best source, but she never told her kids about her being psychic, so she was pretty much out of it. And it was all Booker, and it was definitely Booker and his friend that practically helped him out. Levi is definitely a voice of reason in this situation, but he's more mature than his mom, so hey. But the thing is, Levi had ended up having to be the help, and even though he wasn't psychic, he was like, okay, he was like, well, what's the point of being psychic if you can't help your friends? He was like, well, maybe you weren't supposed to. That's a dynamic that blew me away, because in Raven, and That's So Raven, you wouldn't really see that. She would always dive into trouble thinking that she's able to fix it beforehand, knowing that she can see the future, but she was unable to do it, and she always gets herself in further trouble. In this case, Levi definitely was a voice of reason. He was a guy like, maybe you weren't supposed to. Maybe she was supposed to find this out for herself. And in the very end, and even though he told Tess what he saw, and Tess kind of dismissed him about it, in the very end, he knew exactly what needed to be done. Instead of just walking away and letting her feel the way she felt, he was actually stepped up and became a friend, playing basketball with her, because Nia wasn't there. Nia was out of town, strangely enough. But the thing was that he actually stepped up where Nia was not there. He actually became a really good friend for her. And that blew me away on how mature Booker became. And even though that Raven didn't really know what was going on, I don't know. In a way, I'm hoping that they actually push them a little bit more together to find out about their psychic abilities and not be so afraid of it. But I absolutely love that episode. Seeing how Booker matured, seeing how Booker stepped up to Tess as a friend, even though him and Tess are not that close. I really do think that they might get closer as friends down the line. I don't know. But I think that was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. Now let's get into the one I did not like. Fears of a Clown. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form going to hate on anyone who's afraid of clowns. There are people who have bozophobia. I'm not gonna lie. And it's and I understand because there have been some creepy clowns out there as of late, from it to the whole creepy clown thing that happened pretty much internationally last year. I understand why people are creeped out by clowns. I'm not gonna lie, I'm creeped out by clowns, but then there's some clowns that are fun. But the one thing that I just did not like that Disney does occasionally is take an actual fear and think you can conquer it by something that can just be wrapped up in 30 minutes. Bozophobia is nothing to play with. Now, the thing is that, yeah, Raven had a really ridiculous fear of clowns. I'm saying not ridiculous as a sense of the fear being ridiculous. It's how over the top it was. Her reactions were like she was afraid of a punching bag, a clown punching bag, and then she was okay with an itty bitty little clown coming out of a music box, and then she just freaked out, called the clown lady a circus freak, and told her to get out of her house. And I was just like, okay, can we just reiterate why she has this psycho fear of clowns? And I'm just, it would be nice to have a little bit more detail over something as extreme and as real as bozophobia. So I was just wondering whether or not she would actually explain that, but that never happened. So how was she able to conquer her fears? By putting on a clown outfit herself, because she made Booker's new friend mom feel bad because she happens to be a clown, and that's what she is for a living, a clown. So she, wearing a clown outfit, no fear at all, absolutely fine. I'm like, if everybody could do that, then bozophobia would be non-existent. It will definitely be erased. But that's the one thing I didn't get, man. It's like you can't really change something like that in 30 minutes. But I know, hey, it's Disney. What are you gonna do? But the thing is that the episodes just felt like a filler. It felt like a really big filler. It didn't really lead up to anything. And I know that you have to expect that from your Disney sitcoms. Like, you're going to have to expect a whole lot of filler before it gets to the season finale, which is the whole meat of the entire show. I just wish they were kind of like DuckTales, because DuckTales kind of gives us something new every single episode. I watched all three, and I've been blown away by all three. And I was going to do a review on that, but then I'm like, nah, I'm going to enjoy that for myself. But in every episode of DuckTales, there's always something new at the very end. Just like how Marvel will always leave their credits, the end credits, for you to watch to kind of stay tuned for like the next movie that's going to be coming out. The same thing with DuckTales. DuckTales will actually have something amazing at the end to kind of bring back a character from the series and kind of hints at what's going to really be happening. Like the second episode kind of hinted that we're going to probably see Gizmo Duck down the line. And the third episode kind of hinted that we're going to probably see Magica the Spell. So I'm like, okay, if we can get this awesomeness like every single episode, how come we can't get it in our sitcoms? I'm just saying. But other than that, I didn't really like this episode much because it just felt like that it was Raven once again being over the top, and I really do want her to mature a little bit. And we seen a lot of maturity out of Chelsea. We saw a lot of maturity out of Booker last week. I am hoping that we see something out of Raven before the season finale. I'm just saying, because this whole over the top antics is getting old, and I really do want to see a more mature her. But I guess we gotta wait maybe until the end of the season. I have no idea if it's going to be a season 2, but we'll see. But other than that, guys, let me know what your thoughts are about these episodes, and leave it in the comments below. Let me know how you feel, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.